Hello and welcome to the program. Today I have the great pleasure of being in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, and with me is award-winning and Grammy-nominated artist Mockingbird. Thank you for speaking with me today.
Pleasure. Welcome to Sedona.
Thank you. Mockingbird is of the First Nations Diné, and I wonder if you'd like to introduce yourself in the traditional way.
Absolutely. Look on, Todich ini was chin tubahan che ashinale equat dimensely. Meaning, I am of the Reed people, which is passed down to me from my mother. I am of my mother, born from my father, who is of the Todich ini Dina, which is the Bitterwater people. And my mother's clan, my mother's father's clan, is of the Tuabaha Dina, which is the Edgewater people. And my father's clan is of the Ashinya Dina, which is of the Salt people clan.
Thank you. Now, you're known primarily in the music world as a player of traditional woodwind instruments, and I wonder how you got started on that. How did you decide to take up those particular instruments?
I have many influences in my younger years. 16 may not be young, but when I first heard the Native American flute through my uncle performing, it captured my spirit, and that's what I wanted to be, what I wanted to pursue. I felt a depth in my soul of a connection with that wind, the woodwind. So within 4 days of realizing that that's what I wanted to do, I talked to my mother, and we talked for some time of the instrument and the importance of it, how it collects through the philosophy of the Dene with the wind, the creation of the entirety of the cosmos, and having that connection from Father Sky to Mother Earth through me, and me just being part of the instrument as well. My soul with the wind, or the woodwind, connection with all of this. So I am just an instrument. I had a dream after acquiring or obtaining the instrument through my uncle. He making me the instrument out of wood, which was cedar. And on the night of the fourth night, I had a dream where I saw myself sitting down below and playing the instrument, and me above watching myself playing, and that coming to me. Then that morning, I picked it off the wall and performed like I remember. So it's just a reconnection, a remembrance.
So when you picked up the instrument, you remembered how you had played it in your dream?
I think the dream was basically a knock on my spirit saying, wake up. And that morning I woke up.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And how did you pick up the technique of actually getting the kinds of sounds you wanted to out of the instrument?
I listened to the birds, to the animals, spent much time in nature, camping, hiking, to the water, to the wind, and as a mockingbird.
I was going to say, did you take that name yourself for that reason, or was that your name prior?
My name is Bizahathan in Dene, which means one with many beautiful voices.
Or mockingbird. So you've talked about how you feel the connection between the spirit of the sky and the earth through your flute. Is that, would you say that is descriptive of how music might be thought of throughout Dene tradition as being very much a part of life itself?
Well, there's no such thing as music in Dene. There's only stories and culture, the way of living in balance and harmony with everything within you and without you. The space, the wind between us, also the wind within us that we share through the eyes of truth, through the smell of truth, through our senses, speaking in truth and hearing truth. So in Dene, we sing in truth in our element of being part of this great cosmos, this universe. Singing, the drumming, which is also part of this earth, the heartbeat of Mother, and chanting, ceremonial, native flutes, the woodwind, everything is part of it. So we are only part of it. We can't say this is mine. So there is no such thing as music. We are only a voice.
Wow, that's really fascinating. And you know, I have a few more questions about your relation with your instruments and that kind of idea, but I wonder if at this point you could show us some of your instruments and some of how you play them.
Absolutely. This is the latest instrument that I have, made by Butch Hall. It's a cedar. There are two pieces of it, maybe three perhaps. There's this bronze or brass perhaps, which will not distort with moisture. The woodwind itself, and the two chambers here, one here and one here, is all one piece, made by Butch Hall, and you can see his name here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a G minor pentatonic tuning, but also it could be an A major or A sharp major by moving it 2 notes up.
Uh-huh.
And a top birch piece, and it needs to be in a specific area which would give it the precise sound that it needs, which is also concert pitch. And this is the song Dance of the Butterfly Badger Girl, which I wrote for my niece 15 years ago. She's grown up now. Where I would visit my sister, and my niece would wake me up in the morning, of course very early because it was always Saturday for her, and cartoons was always on. She'd wake me up and ask me to help her with her chores. So she'd say, "You can do the dishes if you don't mind. You know, do the dishes, clean the floor, sweep, mop, vacuum, and I'll clean my room." And I said, "Okay," you know, helping her out. So I do the dishes, I dry them, put them all away, sweep and mop the floor in the kitchen, vacuum the living room, and then I go and check on her, and she's back in her bed with the TV on, asleep. So that's the Badger Butterfly Girl. And the name comes from her grandmothers in Hopi. Her father's Hopi and her mother's Dene. So her grandmother is Butterfly and Badger.
I see.
So she dances as that way. And this is a dance.
wonderful. Thank you. You can picture a little girl dancing. It's great. Although, that song, it seems to me, has parts that are so very bright and sprightly, and others that are slower and almost mournful. And I know many people have said that they feel that so much of the native music sounds sad or mournful. Can you tell us about that?
Now, sadness could also be misinterpreted, but as the vortex is here in Sedona, if you sit on the vortex, or when you do, what you project into yourself is what the vortex amplifies. Much like the music itself. If you are sad, the music will project that. If you are excited, the music will project that. But we are only a part of this small universe in a whole galaxy, in a whole cosmos. So if we could all just project and unite in a sense of love, that would be the greatest connection there. And the instrument itself, actually, the past songs of the native peoples, the First Nations, play the instrument out of love, as a courting instrument.
Mm-hmm.
The men would play for the women in love.
I certainly agree with you about the universality of love as a force. And it's wonderful to have it manifest in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a sense of where your spirit is while you're playing?
That's a difficult question for me, because I don't categorize where my spirit ever is. As the wind, as it flows, so does my spirit. As a hawk soars, so does my spirit. As the rain falls from the sky, so does my spirit to nourish the earth, to nourish you, to nourish people with my music.
Mm-hmm. Among the songs that you perform or that you've recorded, do you have particular favorites? Is there something a particular one you'd like to talk to us about, and then we can play it for our audience?
I don't have a personal favorite. I just enjoy being the connection, I suppose. I love what I do with much intensity. I've heard through few people saying, get a real job and cut your hair. But I refuse, because it brings much happiness to me. This is a song called Awakening of the Beauty Within. And the only reason I call that is to just give it a title. But in reality, it's the connection of us all.